Good evening, friends. Tonight's story begins in a divided nation, where the air trembles with the tension of a coming war. A young America is arguing with itself over freedom, over equality, over its very soul. And at the center of this storm stands a tall, quiet man from a log cabin, a man who carried the hopes of millions on his tired shoulders. This is the bedtime biography of Abraham Lincoln. If these peaceful night stories help you unwind, please like this video and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, which historic life should we explore next? To speak Lincoln's name is to speak of courage, sorrow, and impossible decisions. We remember the Emancipation Proclamation, the Gettysburg Address, and the preservation of the Union. But tonight, we explore the man behind the legend, the child who lost his mother, the boy who learned by firelight, the young man who struggled with love, doubt, and loneliness. So settle and breathe deeply, and let the gentle flow of history guide you toward rest, reflection, and quiet wonder. This is Abraham Lincoln, a life told softly. Lincoln's story begins on February 12, 1809, in a tiny log cabin on Sinking Spring Farm, Kentucky. Imagine one room, rough-cut logs, a stone fireplace glowing gently, and a small window covered not with glass, but oiled paper. His parents, Thomas and Nancy, lived a life of hard work and quiet endurance. Little Abraham's world was simple: the warmth of the hearth, the smell of wood smoke, and the vast wilderness stretching endlessly outside. Nature was his first teacher, whispering lessons through animal tracks, rustling trees, and changing seasons. Nancy, gentle and literate, gave him the priceless gift of words, planting the seeds of a powerful mind. But frontier life was harsh, and soon even harsher lessons would come. At age 7, Abraham's family moved to the dense forests of Indiana for a fresh start. Here, young Lincoln learned to swing an axe, track storms, and carve farmland out of wilderness. Then tragedy struck. In 1818, milk sickness swept through the settlement. Nancy Hanks Lincoln fell ill, and within days, she was gone. Abraham was only 9. Her death carved a permanent quiet sadness in his heart, one that would follow him all his life. A year later, Thomas returned with a new wife, Sarah Bush Johnston. Kind, steady, and wise, she became a guiding light for Abraham. She noticed the boy's hunger for knowledge and encouraged it. He read anything he could find: Robinson Crusoe, Pilgrim's Progress, tales of Washington borrowing books from neighbors miles away. He educated himself, late nights by firelight, charcoal writing on wooden boards. A mind was awakening. At 19, Lincoln took a flatboat journey to New Orleans. For the first time, he saw bustling cities, towering steamships, and the cruel reality of slavery. These memories would shape his conscience forever. In 1830, the Lincoln family moved again, this time to Illinois. By 21, Abraham set out on his own, landing in the tiny village of New Salem. There he worked as a store clerk, a postmaster, a surveyor, and earned a reputation for honesty so strong that people began calling him Honest Abe. And in quiet evenings, he studied law, page after page, alone, determined to rise. New Salem brought friendships, stories, and, according to legend, love. The tale of Anne Rutledge, gentle, kind, and deeply admired, lingers in history. When she died young, Abraham fell into a deep sorrow. Whether myth or truth, the grief was real. Those who knew him said it changed him. Later came another friendship, perhaps another romance, with Mary Owens. Tender but uncertain, the relationship faded. But through heartbreak, Lincoln sharpened his sense of compassion, humor, and empathy. By now he was a respected, thoughtful young man, a gifted storyteller, a powerful speaker. And one day, locals urged him to run for office. He tried in 1832 and lost. He tried again and won. A seed of leadership had taken root. Lincoln became a practicing lawyer, riding on horseback from town to town, arguing cases with clarity, fairness, and wit. People noticed something rare in him: a calm mind, a moral compass, an ability to speak for those who felt unheard. He joined the Illinois legislature, entered debates on slavery and freedom, and slowly, quietly, he became a rising political force. In 1842, he married Mary Todd, a woman of sharp intellect and strong spirit. Together, they would face triumphs and unbearable sorrows, including the loss of children that marked their marriage with grief. Lincoln's life was becoming larger than his hardships. He was now a man shaped by frontier endurance, self-education, heartbreak, and justice. A man ready for destiny. By the 1850s, America was breaking apart over slavery. Debates turned into anger, anger into threats, and threats into violence. Into this storm stepped Lincoln, calm, tall, thoughtful, speaking of unity and humanity. His debates with Stephen Douglas transformed him into a national figure. And in 1860, against all odds, he was elected President of the United States. The country was torn. States began to secede, or loomed. Lincoln faced the impossible. How to save the Union? How to end the cruelty of slavery? How to bear the weight of a nation in pain? Yet through sleepless nights and terrible losses, he pressed on, believing America could still rise to its better angels. As you rest tonight, remember the quiet boy from a log cabin, the young man who read by firelight, the leader who carried a divided nation toward freedom. Abraham Lincoln's life was not just one of speeches and victories. It was the story of perseverance, empathy, and duty, even when the path grew dark. Thank you for joining this bedtime biography. If this peaceful story brought you comfort, please like this video, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Which historic life should we explore next? Good night, and may your dreams be filled with courage, peace, and wisdom.